Okay, so where's our music? Welcome back, first of all, to another journeys through the Radiant Citadel. They really do mean through. We haven't spent a lot of time there, but we are currently on the Radiant Citadel. Where are we on the splash page still? So you guys have obviously journeyed to Sabsun Kor, helped the shield bearers with help the people there with a bit of problems on behalf of the shield bearers, and you've been offered kind of a temporary position to assist with troubles in the outlying civilizations. You've now kind of arrived back from your first mission, so to speak, got a couple of interesting goodies and gadgets. You found an interesting type of metal that you were getting checked out, and after that, I believe your next assignment was known by Hosnim. It was to oversee the awakening ceremony on God's Breath. But as you guys prepare for the day here, we're going to go over to you in the Radiant Citadel. And yeah, if there's anything you want to finish up here, explore anything in particular, or simply go back to the blacksmith and see if there's any news on your find.
Digit would like to try to figure out the what the process is to eventually one day be able to have his own shop here.
Okay.
Try to reopen the shop that he had beforehand.
Fair enough. So yeah, with the limited space, there's kind of a waiting list versus the priority of if your goods are needed in the Citadel. Hosnim can definitely set you up on the process, plus you kind of have to go through a lot of political loops.
Yeah, that's what he figured. It's just, try to get the process started as soon as he can. So
Yeah. What was your shop gonna be selling?
it's potions and also poisons and herbalism stuff and stuff like this.
Okay. Okay, cool. That is okay. Well, that's probably going to be in. You could maybe have something as well in connection with the House of Convalescence.
Okay.
If it's going to be aimed at healing goods as well. But in the meantime, things carry on here as they seem to always do. You can see this kind of endless typhoon circling the city on the outside of the Concord Jewels, just like a storm of destruction that's kind of never left the side of the Auroral Diamond. And as you wake up this morning, you see the light subtly change to a more orange hue as with the flickering, the color of the diamond itself shifts.
Is this doable?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, change it.
Yeah, it changes whenever it wants.
Yeah, no one really knows why. But people are going about their business. It's a very interesting place because with the connection to all the civilizations, you're just getting a variety of goods and peoples and languages and songs and smells. It's almost like a permanent, very orderly Mardi Gras. So what's the plan for you guys today? You are aware when you're ready to head out, you can always contact Hosnim.
First,
Should we go talk with the smith? He might be in a position to tell us what the properties of what kind of items he could make with the metal and what properties they would have.
yeah, last session we did go to the smith and he said that he would need the help of some wizard to help him like direct the flow of magic, sort of.
Does anyone
Oh,
have
so you think he may not be ready to go ahead?
Well, does anyone have proficiency in Arcana in this group? I don't think anyone did actually.
No.
It shouldn't be too difficult. You could pay a bit extra to hire the services of someone who could help. He has partnered with someone before, so he knows someone to go to. It's just gonna, make the bill a bit more expensive.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's our best option. At least Dejet is not that great uh with knowing things about magic themselves.
Sure.
I don't know if anybody else.
He's got he's got a prime contact. It's in fact a gentleman from San Sitlan, the kind of magocracy, very knowledgeable with this kind of stuff, especially specializing in the applications in not necessarily armor, but utility-based rare metal objects. So going to the business again, you can see them at work in the background. A bit of hissing, sizzling, as you're not really sure what's going on. It seems to also rely on a bit of alchemical process as well. But eventually, he would come back, kind of scratching his head, wiping the sweat off his brow. Sorry, just a bit of feedback from someone there, blowing on the mic or
Let's
something.
talk. Sam using the microphone.
Sorry,
Sure.
That's fine.
it's when I mute.
So this metal, this elfite, he would tell you, it's actually quite interesting. It seems to, well, I mean, it was connected to the land, but it seems to hold some natural magics, which could surface in very interesting ways once worked into maybe a weapon or some armor. Manifest the powers of such land, even in strange but probably pretty interesting ways. So above board, kind of out of game, effectively objects made from Aelfite can be the latent energy of the natural process can be tapped into, and giving you a surge of effectively wild magic. The weapons in a similar fashion can sometimes be channeled to bring forth the different elemental abilities of the land, thunder or fire, things like that.
So Agrush would ask, how would that manifest in a weapon versus a shield, an offensive versus a defensive item?
So with the weapon, you would be looking at an activation of the weapon, bringing forth a randomized element to give you a bit of bonus damage for a set amount of time. With the shield, you'd be looking at the same effects as the armor, effectively calling forth basically like a wild magic surge.
Okay.
Okay. Well,
When would the wild magic surge occur? When like an attack was blocked or something like that?
you should be able to activate it yourself.
Oh, okay. Agrush is intrigued.
Well, it definitely holds some interesting possibilities, and I would love to be able to work with this metal. It's quite a rare opportunity.
Well, a good smith, I would request that you forge me a shield. And the metal that is left, please let my companions pick what they desire.
Nods. Well, do you guys have any particular weapons in mind or items?
Long sword is what Bricktop would be interested in.
Okay. Anyone else?
Yeah,
I'd be
Digit would be
happy to
maybe.
put a. Karen?
Go ahead.
I'd be happy to put a tiny bit on the end of a lance, but at the end of the day, I don't think I need a damage bump, and I'd be more happy if someone else in the party.
Alright. Use a shield.
Do we have enough to make like one small thing or like one piece of weapon for each of us, or?
If it's unless you like making great swords and plate armor, yeah, there should be enough.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think just a shield.
So a shield, a long sword, a shield. Makari, do you use a shield?
I do.
Would
To
you
be
like
fair.
a shield then?
It'll be cheaper on the material to get a lance tip because you don't have to make a whole lance out of it. You just need to put the very tip as it.
Yeah, that's up to you. It's also whether you want the defensive or offensive capabilities.
Just the tip.
Is everyone going defense? Because if everyone's going defense, I'll go offense. But if we've got someone else getting a weapon,
Bricktop's got a sword.
what about the last person?
Everyone else has taken shield. Ogrush and Digit. What about you? Who's our last one? Katara?
Yeah, I think she's going to end up doing kind of like what Makari did and just get something for her quarterstaff, like a metal tip on the end, something of that nature.
Sure. Okay.
I'll go for a shield then.
Okay, 3 shields and 2 weapons. Now, yeah, it's going to take a couple of days. Are you guys going to hang around? Or you don't really have the time to hang around because the Awakening Festival is fairly soon.
Yeah.
I mean, if we have to go to that first, we can all come back after,
Yeah.
the mission. Rather have it, if it takes a while, have it done right than, try to have it rushed or anything like that.
Agreed.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so are you guys then heading to Commander Hosnam?
Yeah.
Bricktop, while we're still in the trade disco, Bricktop would like to find medium armor. Just basic medium armor to buy.
Yeah, sure. Hide, chain shirt, scale mail. Are you looking for the cheapest? Hide is the cheapest at 50, and then it goes 10. Sorry, and then it goes up to 50 for chain and scale mail.
Let's see. I'm seeing what our party loot is at 267 gold. What's the chain shirt gives you? Is that 13 or 14?
It's 13. Scale mail
13
costs the
plus
same.
dex.
Scale mail costs the same, gives 1 more but disadvantage on stealth.
So 14 plus dex for scale mail.
Correct.
But don't worry about disadvantage on stealth, because there's Digit, and I think also it will be Ogorish later with disadvantage on
Not
stealth.
really Bricktop's concern.
So okay,
with
good.
stealth. He's a little too aloof anyways. Guess we'll do the sorry, did you say that was scale mail?
Yes.
Okay. Bricktop, we get the scale mail. And you said that's how much?
50.
50. All right. Alrighty, sounds good.
Alright, as you kind of push through the crowds on your way back to the shield bearers, which set next to the Preserve of the Ancestors entrance, you kind of get a glimpse inside this beautiful sanctuary. And I mean, you can see a couple of stranger animals in there, almost close to ones you're used to, slightly off. You're aware that throughout the world, a lot of animals that become endangered, or well, yeah, mostly endangered. Some of them are brought back here by druids and preservers in order to, just try and keep these creatures alive, um, being the heritage of one of the civilizations. So a lot of creatures live themselves in the preserve of the ancestors. And every now and again, as you move past, you can see in the distance one of the actual dawn incarnates. The main one that kind of is mostly visible would be the the Jasper pecan tree, pecan tree, sorry, which is symbolizes the people of God's breath. In fact, the place you're going to. What color is Jasper? It sounds blue. What color? No, it's red. Okay. However, Commander Hosnum waiting for you guys. Well, after getting told that you're there to see him, eventually you enter into his office. He looks over and kind of nods towards you. It's starting tomorrow morning. The awakening ceremony is going to take place across the land of God's breath, and at the very least we have a stake in the village of Promise, one of the larger villages that are still on the ribbon, that haven't moved into the dangerous lands of the Rattle yet. I want you to make sure that nothing goes wrong over the next day or two there if you can. There have been strange reports getting back to me, not necessarily of violence or dangers, but of lack of communication, which is never a good sign. Well, you know where the Passage of Respite is. The Jasper Concord jewel is waiting. Any questions?
Yes, so can you clarify our mission with more detail? What should we attempt to accomplish?
Make sure that within the town of Promise, we don't have anything disrupting the awakening ceremony. It's going to be people rejoicing, singing, coming together about the tales of the land. There's a specific contact we have there. Where is it? Delia, that's her name. Look for. She is known amongst the people there. Auntie Delia. She should be able to at least assist you with the place to stay while you're there, and maybe give you a bit more information on the land.
Understood. We are peacekeepers, and we will assist this contact in an attempt to keep the peace of Promise.
Nods. Give it a day or two. Once the awakening ceremony calms down, feel free to come back. And that's pretty much going to be it. You'll be paid accordingly, with the bonus if you manage to help them sufficiently. I'm going to keep my ears out, always getting reports back. He gives a bit of a grin and looks towards the papers on his desk and kind of shuffling them in a sign of dismissal. Alright, so you guys are all escorted from the room, and I imagine you're going to make your way to the Concord Jewels, unless there's anything else you want to get done before you leave this place.
Well, it is in the morning, meaning we do have a whole day here. So if there is stuff we want to do, we do have a little bit of time.
Yes.
For instance, I assume this is some form of arena. It looks like an arena. Can we do some bets or something quickly? Can we generate a bit of money?
Does look like a horse track or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be more animal races, to which they usually have quite interesting variety. It does change from time to time, but there's a couple of where's my music gone? There's a couple of more promising ones. They've got these strange ape-like creatures with 4 arms that do what's it, obstacle courses. There's a couple of quadrupeds and more than that, kind of strange horse-like creatures with who look like they're, instead of their legs being on kind of on the corners of their body, it's like centipede-like with multiple legs underneath. It's pretty off-putting at first, but there is an interesting grace to their movement as they kind of just sail along the ground. Let's see here. Alright, for now though, I'm going to be honest with you guys, they deadass have nothing for this place. I'm busy designing events and places of interest, but besides the places marked on the map, the story has nothing to do with the Radiant Citadel, so I'm trying to add it in bit by bit.
You're good. As soon as they walk out of the building, Brooktop's gonna start rambling off about God's breath and saying that he hasn't heard of he's heard of this specific area we're going to, but he's never been there. But God's breath is awesome. Everyone's gonna love it. He's usually higher up in the mountains with the mines, but everything's all about stories. And he just starts just rambling off any little facts that he thinks anyone's gonna find interesting. And even if they don't find interesting, he's still gonna ramble them off.
Nice, and this, yeah, it's a very, as you said, story-driven place, family-driven place. A lot of close-knit societies, kind of ruling amongst themselves and taking care of each other. There is always a bit of strife in the land. There's kind of 5 major deities in God's breath that make up what they call the covenant gods, and these are the ones that are said to have brought the people to the land. The worship is pretty much split up amongst this pantheon.
And Bricktop will also ask, does anyone not like music?
Or looks offended at the question.
Just checking, because there's a lot of music.
Outstanding. You're speaking my language, Bricktop. Tell us more about the 7 narrative subtypes of stories in this place. Agrush goes on and on.
Bricktop will cover each different type of story written, but he will be partial to the limerick.
Wonder if they'll have peanuts on the Concord Jewel.
Well, it awaits your presence, and the Jasper Jewel. It's the same kind of layout as you enter inside the Clavages, welcoming you. You can see this rough exterior with like orange and rippled striations of gold and darker colors, blacks inside. And it doesn't take long. Kind of you are at the moment the only ones that are taking. They do move often on the behalf of the shield bearers. So it's not very long before you settle in that you can actually feel the Concord Jewel detach from the passage of respite and begin a single orbit around the city before kind of shooting out into the ethereal back towards the material plane.
Bricktop is still just rambling off everything, and it gets to the point, especially as we get to the Concord Jewel, that he starts talking so fast, like a little kid. You know, he's like stumbling over his words, and he's trying to explain everything with the different deities and stuff. But of course, I don't follow any of those. I follow a different deity, and as he starts to get out of breath, he grabs his wineskin and tips it up like a kindergartner, who doesn't know how to just drink water whenever he's out of breath. He's just gasping for air, and he's like, I like the wine god best. But let's go.
And you can feel the shift over as there's a strange pressurization in the vehicle as you emerge into a fresh atmosphere. You see, well, there's not much viewing space out of the jewels themselves, but as it lands on the ground, alights on the ground, you have arrived in God's Breath. Kind of looking out, you see that you are a little bit out of the side, away from a village in the distance. Very bright town, lights welcoming, as here it does seem to be a bit later in the day, looks like early afternoon. You can start to hear a bit of music on the wind already floating back from the town. It seems like the festival is almost already underway, people excited to get going. And for you, Bricktop, I mean, it's got this smell on the wind, culmination of the unique fauna and flora here that is just like home to you. It's very refreshing. The mountains you come from are a fair ways away from Promise. You might have done trading once or twice with this town, but didn't often come down here. It's quite close to the ocean, in fact.
Mm-hmm.
The Clavages escort you from the ship. They ask if there's anything you need. They point the way towards Promise in case you guys didn't notice it. And unless someone stops them, they're going to head back. They're going to do the daily trip here, kind of early afternoon, 1-2 p.m. every day to see if you're ready to head back.
Well, this looks like an exciting place. Is it common to worship the wine god here, Bricktop? I'm thirsty.
No. Nobody really knows about the wine god. He comes from a different plane. I just happened to find out about him and enjoy his thoughts so much.
Indeed. Well, to each his own. Which way to Promise?
Bricktop looks around him and he sees a wooden sign that says "Promise this way, 5 miles." He said, "Probably that way."
A good bet. You can see that you've arrived at a strip of land where the land meets the ocean, and in the distance, more islands dot the silhouette. You can see houses upon them as the sun begins to start making its way towards the horizon. The land around you, as you move off the kind of sandy areas of the beach, you move into a place where the ground starts to take on a red tinge, growing more and more as more percentage of the earth is this strange red soil, until the entire ground is just this kind of blood red soil. It is a strange color, but it does seem to spread out to the left and right as far as you're aware. Bricktop, you would be familiar with this. It's referred to as the ribbon. Pretty much the only safe, fertile farming area in God's Breath.
If I could just kind of backtrack real quick. As soon as Bricktop got his new chain shirt, he would get with Makari and try to get it painted in the same like patchwork, almost motley coloration as his tunic was. So
Sure.
very bright colors and stuff. That's just what he's used to. But yeah,
See how
Bricktop
good it looks
will,
then.
hey, very nice.
Nice.
Bricktop will warn everybody, be careful with anything that's white. It will stain really bad.
After he paints the armor, he holds that hand.
Just open your mouth. And Bricktop like goes to like already start to pour wine above Makari.
He shakes his head and says he doesn't drink, and he holds out his hand, gesturing pointedly.
Bricktop will grab a gold and like question. Is that good?
He says more than enough.
Okay.
Okay, he takes gold and squirrels it away like a greedy goblin.
Nice. So you can see as are you guys heading towards the town in general?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
So that'll be away from the ocean. You can see the tides fade out of view as you move into kind of more farmland, kind of heading towards the town of Promise. And it seems like the annual Awakening Festival, or the kind of pre-party, is already well underway. Where's my page here? The streets are pretty much alive with vibrant music. You can hear different songs all mingling together, forming a strange, it should be quite a discordant cacophony, but it actually works quite well. Everything kind of harmonizing with each other. It's hard to make out one line of song. You kind of have to pause and focus on it to start to pick apart the different lyrics and words, and sometimes it doesn't make much sense, but you kind of get more feel for what's being said. But in general, this place seems to be in full swing. And
An exciting place.
yeah, people greeting you, dancing around you, singing out of their windows. The village itself is quite bright, different houses, different colors. The history of the land is being recounted around you through song as you move into this area. Musicians playing instruments of many kinds, their performances kind of melding together, passers-by joining in the choruses, and it just seems to all come together in a single collective celebration.
Bricktop is going to increase in his excitement and just be like, the food here is the best. And he's gonna try to find a stand that would have, you know, some type of sweeter food.
Yeah, sure. So moving through the crowds, I mean, you do see the seasonal dolls are definitely for sale. These small straw dolls that wear colorful shirts and dresses that are often locally crafted during this time, selling for 5 copper pieces each. You can have them customized to kind of generally look like you for an extra 2 copper pieces. A bit of a local craft here, but you do see the variety of goods that are for sale. One of the more popular delicacies in terms of desserts, it's kind of cubed fruits dipped in melted sugar until it hardens, and covered in colorful flakes and powders.
Top will get an order of those for himself for sure.
Agrush goes along and does the same.
Sure. It's a silver piece for a little bundle of 6 or 8 pieces.
And so they make these small dolls to resemble the owner. Is that correct, Bricktop?
Yes, they don't really make dolls like this from where I'm from. These are interesting.
Oh, that's outstanding.
Agrush,
I
do
must
you,
I must obtain one. I would love to have a small doll that looks like myself. So Agrush will.
That's not creepy at all. That's fine.
Agrush goes to to see if they can make a doll that looks like a half orc, outfitted the way Agrush is usually outfitted with the fancy hat.
Sure, sure. Yeah, it seems like every second or third stall is selling these dolls, and as you go up to one of the locals, a darker skinned gentleman kind of nods with a bright smile on his face, bringing out a bag of goodies. You can see hats and smiles and teeth and all different kinds of little accessories, and within minutes he's got one that actually looks like a pretty good job. It's just a rough drawing, but you can see the hat there. I mean, it's a rough doll, I mean, but it does look somewhat like you.
Bricktop would
Fantastic.
like to
How much?
ask him to make one of each of the party members, excluding himself.
Okay, that is doable. So, I mean, it's 7 for a customizable one. So what, there's 7 times 4, 20, 28.
28 copper.
Yeah, it's not that expensive. I mean, they're pretty inexpensively made as well. Pretty crude, but gets the job done.
Kairo's going to wander off and try to find some exotic inks and paints, because I assume if they're making dolls and, you know, doing other colourful things, they're going to have harder pigments to find in normal places, like purple, you know, deep greens and things.
Sure, sure. Looking around now, I mean, you can see the town itself is brightly coloured, and this kind of gives you hope, as a variety of these bright hues all around you. It doesn't take long to actually find a kind of a textile-like place that does deal with dyes and inks, specifically for the. And you can see everyone's wearing different colors here, and you start to notice patterns. There's definitely predominant colors that are being worn by people. The merchants seem to go more with an array of different strips or spots or patterns, almost looking quite clown-like in some instances, but there seems to be some designation with the colors. They definitely denote something. Let's see here.
While Makari's out looking for paint, Bricktop wants to find a place and just plop down and just listen to the music.
Yeah, fair enough. How much were you interested in getting of paints or inks?
Like a gold's worth.
Yeah, easily done. No problem.
He wants to get some more expansive colours, and then he's gonna go back and he's gonna add some more paint to the armor.
Yes.
More expensive paint.
Let me get my wallet ready.
Yeah, pretty good detailing, adding depth and extra boldness to the colors. And
Makari smiles. He doesn't raise his hand this time.
nice.
Bricktop still brings out a gold.
He shakes his head.
Oh, well, thank you.
He said he used the last gold to buy the paints, so I figured he would at least, you know, make your armor look a bit better.
Alright, so Bricktop, you're sitting there enjoying the Awakening song, for it seems that the carnival, the Awakening Festival has pretty much erupted in full force. There's no kind of set time when it activates. It's just the general jovialness of the people usually increases, music begins, and the song simply starts. And it definitely has started, for you haven't heard a sound like this anywhere else in any of the places you've visited. It's as if the entire city has turned into a choir, singing different yet harmonizing songs that just kind of merge into each other to form this resonance of beautiful sound. Now, as you are enjoying yourself, munching on some candied fruit squares, before we continue, is there anything that anyone else is looking for in particular in the festival or keeping an eye out for? Okay. So, you watch a procession of people moving through the area. They would be... where is God's breath. Yeah, you can see denotations of the pecan tree, the dawn incarnate for the people of God's breath, and also for the separate deities themselves. You see people that proclaim themselves as followers of Kuliba, who controls the tempest and the peace. Variety of domains. There's also Antare, Breran, Nansi, and Shesu. And all of these five making up the covenant gods here, that, from what you've heard, have started to work a bit less together. They've definitely separated their flock from each other and have kind of split areas into predominantly religious groups dedicated to one god, where before it was all just worshipping all together as the covenant.
I have never experienced such a thing. I do enjoy it, but should we meet with our contact?
Who was our contact?
On Delhi.
Yes, Aunt Delhi.
Were we told where Aunt Deli would be found?
No, you were told you could ask around. She's quite well known in the town. And Bricktop, as you are watching the kind of one of the central thoroughfares of the town, the main roads, there's a part of the crowd begins another verse of the Awakening song, singing of the founding of promise, possibly, but four people wearing the garb of farm folk seem to wander into their midst, and rather than singing, they are just kind of staring blankly ahead. The people around them kind of take note for a moment, moving around them instead, as
Huh. That's strange.
yeah. And you notice that their eyes seem to be quite dark.
Brooktop will nudge whoever's next to him and kind of point in that direction.
As you watch, okay, Katara, with a 12, I mean, they're dressed not in the as colorful garbs as everyone else. They don't seem to be celebrating as the others. They do have, what really does alarm you is they do have farm implements in their hands, which could be used as weapons. I mean, a lot of people here are farmers, but they have like sickles and scythes, sorry. And the main thing you notice is that they're kind of rocking backwards and forwards on their heels. Their eyes are this kind of dark shade. You can't really see from this distance.
Katara will mention that perhaps we should kind of nonchalantly head in their direction.
A good idea.
Okay.
Probably a good idea for... Are we shield bearers, or are we just employed by shield bearers?
You are effectively shield bearers.
Okay. Yeah. Brooktop will make some comment about, it's probably our job.
Yeah, Agrush will wade through the crowd and take a position in front of them. Are they walking or standing? You said they're rocking back and forth on their heels?
Yeah. You do see that as you start to approach, there is a change amongst them. All at once, kind of in unison, they begin to raise their rusty farm sickles and surge forward into the celebrants, as if to swing their weapons into the crowd of folk, people, partygoers there.
Stop that at once.
Okay, so I think this point, we're just going to get some initiative rolls to see who can react first in the situation here. We'll get you onto this map. Let's turn this down and go. Oh gosh, why doesn't the clear initiative work? Makes my life much harder. One sec. Let's not lose the tens. This command does not work anymore. Okay, I'm gonna have to bombard you guys, I'm afraid. Just deleting everything is gonna make a loud noise. I will figure out why. Okay, but as these figures surge forward, let's see what they're gonna be getting on the initiative rolls here. This is the stat block they are using.
Oh, they're cultists.
It's just their stat block, don't judge, come on. Okay, Katara, you are the first to react. There's 4 of them. They are raising variety of weapons. One's got like a long hacking sword. One's got a scythe, and you get the idea. People start to scream and run away from these figures that look very interested in swinging into the group of people here. As you are running forward, you hear recognition around you. These are people that are maybe part of the community or maybe known around here. People are screaming out their names. What are you doing? Why are you attacking? You hear, as you guys kind of charge forward, looking like definitely enforcers in the situation, you do hear calls of, please don't kill them! But I mean, obviously how you handle the situation is up to you. We're starting with Katara. You will be able to reach them with 30 feet movement.
I have 40 feet.
Okay, so no problem for you to get up to this group. They are, as you approach them, you can see now that their eyes are kind of blood red and swirling, almost as if holding in tears of blood that are just moving around the eyes.
Okay. I'll come up to the closest one that I can reach, and
Written in blood.
will
Starting the adventure.
tell them to stop their aggression, and then I will raise my quarterstaff and make an attack at him.
Okay, go for it. Ooh, so 7 is just not going to do it, I'm afraid.
Yep. Then bonus action. Cat's claws 11.
Oof, 1 short. You can see this figure kind of
Okay.
lurching, and as they bear their weapon to you, slicing, you have to kind of pull away at the last moment as they just launch an attack straight at your head.
Okay, I will spend a key point. And oh no, I already did my bonus action. Okay, never mind. That's it.
What was your bonus action?
Was the cat's claw.
I don't think you don't have to say before you take any attacks, unless I missed something in the rules there. I think you can do it after you attack as well.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then I will spend a key point
Sure.
to take patient defense.
Oh, thought you meant flurry of blows.
Oh, yeah, no, so
Yeah, patient defense is still going to be a whole bonus action.
yeah, okay. So I
Alright.
already did the attack.
No problem.
All right, that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay, Daggett, you see people fleeing around you. No one here very armed. There's definitely an atmosphere of friendliness and acceptance that was here before this all broke out. You get the idea people here aren't that used to having to defend themselves.
Okay. So, how far ahead is Kitara from the rest of us?
She would be 30 feet ahead now at where these creatures are.
Okay. Then Legit is gonna move to have everybody within 30 feet. And he's gonna cast Bless on Ogorish Kitara and Makari.
Okay.
Thank you.
No problem. And as a bonus action, he's gonna use Harness Divine Power to regain the spell slot back.
Sure. Okay, well then that'll bring us around to these strange figures here that are surging forward into the people. There doesn't seem like they're hearing what everyone's calling out to them. It doesn't seem like they're really cognitive, much besides just being able to use their arms and legs and swing at all the people here. And they're gonna surge forward and make some weapon attacks. So you can see a couple of them just picking random people in the crowd, lunging forward, slicing out with their farm implements. Let me take off this. Here we go. People crying out in pain as one drops, another dives out of the way, just avoiding getting cut up. The one that you were fighting, Katara, will attack back at you, and the one next to it will also attack at you. As these two creatures, in a zombified manner, kind of lunge at you, but they are far off. So as for these four farmers, inverted commas, that'll bring us to Bricktop.
Bricktop is gonna move forward, but kind of to the side, not like directly behind Katara. But I believe, what's the range on this? 30 feet. If there's one that's like towards the back, or if they're all like right there all together, he's just gonna pick one at random. But he's gonna cast Tasha's Hideous Laughter and shout a jab at the farmer to stop being such a hoe.
Nice. Okay, so we'll get a roll here. I don't know why I didn't get a map ready for this, so I just threw one up in the background and put you in here. Okay, so we're gonna get a wisdom save from this guy. And although he seems to be a creature of the night, he is extremely resilient. Well, maybe because of that, he does not seem to be affected.
Damn.
And yeah.
Yep, that'll be it for me, I guess.
Okay, people running in every direction. A bit of a hiccup in the Song of Awakening here in this part of the city. You can hear it still continuing in other areas. Ogrish, what are you doing?
So he heard someone in the crowd shout, "Don't kill them," and he assumes that they're talking about these people who seem to be under the influence of something. So Ogrush is going to try and do something in his nature. He will move to this point, and then he will try and grapple the one in front of him. Is that a strength check or is that an athletics check?
Athletic. I believe athletics.
Yes.
Okay, sorry, was this the one to the west of you?
Yes.
Okay, it's gonna... His dex is slightly better. He's gonna try worm his way out of it, go all loosey-goosey on you. He does manage to pull out of the grapple, unfortunately.
All right, so Ogrush is going to use his action surge to try it again.
Yes.
Remember, you are blessed, so you add a d4
Oh,
to the athletics.
So I would have gotten
Yeah, you...
At least
no, that's
minimum
only
of
an attack
13.
or a saving roll, right?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, right, it's not. Sorry, yeah, sorry. I forgot
Fair
it's not
enough.
ability check.
That'd be guidance.
Okay,
Yeah,
so unfortunately, as you try again... Hey! This time, he is unable to. You kind of catch onto some of the clothes and you manage to grab on.
All right, and so then Ogrush is going to hold on to him and keep him from attacking anyone.
Nice. Okay, over to you, Makari.
Okay. We're going to get to about here. And because we have been told not to absolutely kill everyone, so for my action, I'm going to throw a net.
Nice, that'll do the job.
And for my spider's action, on the one above, the one that he would have netted, we're going to do a spider's web. So net on this dude, spider's web on the dude above him.
So a 10 will not do the job, in fact. They do seem to be
so-
armored, for whatever reason.
14?
14 does hit, yes.
Okay, so it's 2 damage and he is restrained.
Was that this one down here?
No, it was the one above Ogrish.
Perfect. Okay, yeah, this weighted net just like nails him to the ground. He's trying to get out of it. That'll bring us back around to Katara.
Okay, we'll continue to go after the one that's just to the southwest of me.
Sure. Yeah, a young man. With these red eyes definitely off-putting as he's hacking at you with the sickle.
And Katara also heard the cry of "Don't kill them." So she's going to, as she attacks, if it ever comes down to killing blow, it'll be non-lethal damage instead.
Sure. Wow. Yeah, now that you've got your rhythm going, I mean, at the end of the day, these guys are not experienced farmers. Slamming into the elbow, into the gut, you can see he almost folds up in one hit.
Okay, and she actually will try and subdue this person. Is
Sure.
Is a 12 hit?
A 12 will hit, just hit, yes.
Okay, 9.
Okay, 9 non-lethally. Yeah, you kind of... I'm trying to think how that would be non-lethal with slashing. But you push him over, kind of maybe going for the legs, pinning him down. He does drop. Definitely not dead, but not able to continue fighting.
If it helps, a Tabaxi's claw attack is the same dice as a monk unarmed, so non-lethal would just be punching.
Yep. Cool. Well, Katara, looks like one of them is down. Is that going to be the end of your turn?
I am actually going to move around to here. With to give Ogrish the flanking ability.
Nice.
And that'll be the yeah, I guess that'll be the end of my turn.
Okay, and that'll bring us around to take it.
Okay. Gonna move to there, and it's not possible to do non-lethal, right? With cantrips.
I don't believe so. You need to be in melee.
Okay. Hmm. Then yeah, screw it. He's gonna just move up to the one that's hurt and take a swing with his mace.
That'll do the job. And this was the one that was restrained, right?
The one that is injured.
He's unconscious.
Oh, okay. Then yeah, the one that's restrained.
Let me just do that. Okay. Yeah, you have advantage.
Roll again, advantage.
Roll another d20.
Or just crit.
So slam into his head, doing some damage here as he's trying to like knock him out. Go to sleep. Go to sleep. While he's
exactly.
trying to get this net off of himself. Yeah, I mean you're getting there.
Yeah, that's his turn.
So as we come to these figures, and you can see while a lot of the people in the crowd have kind of retreated, either outright fleeing or moving back to watch the spectacle from a safe distance, a couple have not, in fact, stepping forward. You see a few figures from the crowd coming to your aid, and let's see here. This figure here is the one that shouted out, you hear the same voice, not to kill them. Makari, they're going to run forward and give you help, the help action on that person there. And this one will come around, do the same for Katara, and this one the same for Ogrush, as some of the people from Promise do try and help subduing these crazed figures. But as for their turn, this one is going to try and throw the rope off them, screaming in this kind of bestial rage. What is the DC for that? She gets a 10. Does it say on the net? Well, I can check.
Yeah, I believe a net is 10.
Yeah, it's not the best. The highest DC. That's really useful in times though. Yeah, 10 strength check. He manages to pull it off and stand up with half his movement, bringing his weapon to bear. He kind of looks around, beginning the motions of attacking. This one will swing towards a Grush. Scimitar. 15 is not going to do the job, as the other one turns and sees this figure that is helping you, Makari, and will actually, let's see, try to actually launch an attack against her. That will just miss as she gets out of the way, ducking underneath, kind of calling him by his name, Geron, crying out for him to stop this madness. That'll bring us back around to Bricktop.
Yeah. Bricktop is going to run forward. And you said this is the farmer that was just attacking?
Yes.
Bricktop's going to attempt to tackle him with a grapple.
Nice. Get it. Let's see what he rolls. Natural 1.
Hey! But the only thing that is worse than a 2.
Yes, so you managed to get
that's,
their legs pinned and they're not going anywhere.
Yeah, that's it for Brooktop.
Bring us back around to Ogrush.
He's going to try and subdue the one that he grappled. I don't know exactly like how that would
Make
work.
a further check to progress the grapple to restrained, I guess.
Sure.
So
Since he's being helped, do we use the advantage one?
You would get advantage, and even though they rolled a natural 20, ability checks don't have nat 20s for auto success, so 22 still succeeds. Yeah, you pin their arms to the side. The weapon implement they were using drops to the ground. They're struggling, but there's now too many of you guys around him for him to be able to do anything.
Stop this at once. Stop this madness. This is a festival.
And there's no, you haven't heard language from these people. You do hear this like this horrible sounds coming from their throats. Makari.
Okay, so I'm going to take a 5-foot step there. I'm going to hit 10 feet on this dude up here with the blunt side of my lance, because we don't want to kill him.
That'll just miss, I'm afraid.
Are you riding the toad? Did you bring
No,
the
you
toad?
No.
have, you have bless.
I have bless. Yes.
Yep.
1d4, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Nice.
There you go.
Oh, there's been some low rolls tonight for attack, so that'll make it. That'll do it. 8 piercing as he's getting up, throws the net off, growls, looks towards Daggett, and you just beat him once in the temple, and he drops back down again.
Okay, and then the spider is going to bite the dude in front of me.
Sorry, 19 will hit, yeah. Okay,
Does he die to poison damage?
okay. He very much dies to poison damage.
Okay, so if the damage kills them from the poison, if they're reduced to 0, the target is stable, but they are poisoned for 1 hour. Even after regaining hit points, they are paralyzed until the poison ends.
Nice. Okay, so he goes like all white, and the spider, like maybe just from natural instinct, starts to try and wrap him up with a bit of web. Okay, yeah, he is spider poisoned. Is that your turn?
Yep.
Guitarra.
Okay. So is that all of them? I think are subdued.
Oh, actually, yes, I think you're right. That does bring us to the end of it. You can see people kind of help you as well, just piling on. Now that the trouble's gone, some of the commoners, not under the threat of being stabbed by farming implements, help out, kind of holding them down. Rope is brought, or whatever else. You can see this figure here. What is this? What is wrong with their eyes? Where is this? You can see she's looking down at something at this figure here. Looks like pulling something out of one of the clenched fists. She was kneeling next to this figure, and you hear her kind of, you see her kind of stand up and put a hand up to her mouth, exclaiming silently to herself. Let's see here. Sorry, where's my page gone? It's disappeared.
Could Bricktop do an Arcana check to see if he, like,
Yes, please.
notices anything? Nope.
Okay, unfortunately not. This is definitely a strange occurrence, to say the least. A religion could also be appropriate, those who be proficient in religion. But you see this figure kind of stand up. This one, this is drawn by someone I know. This is drawn by my niece. This is drawn by Kalia. She looks around and kind of moving to the others. What is happening up at the farm? What is happening? Where is my daughter? She kind of moves from person to person, seeing one after the other, not able to respond. You can see she's standing up, looking fairly stressed. You can see some of the other figures trying to console her, but she's throwing it off. And you do hear the name Aunt Deli thrown out once or twice. As you see this figure before you, let me give you a handout. Where's her handout? Doesn't seem to have one for now. But you may have found the person you were looking for.
Are you Aunt Deli?
She stops. Yes. Who are you all? Where are you from?
I am Aldrush the Loquacious. We have come from the Radiant Citadel at the request of Osman to keep the peace. How may we be of assistance here?
Well, you maybe come at a fortuitous time. This, she shows you, she hands over a piece of parchment to you. I've seen these before. This was drawn by, my goddaughter, Kiana. This is her art style. She draws this, she says with a heavy voice, regularly. And as you look down, looking at this, it seems extremely dark. It bears a charcoal sketch of what looks to be a child struggling to swim in dark water while being grasped at by hands beneath the surface. Many hands.
Charming.
This gives me a bad feeling. What can you tell us about what's going on here, Aunt Deli?
She gives a sideway glance. Please. As a child, Kiana saw her friend Kali drown in Cradleless Lake while they were playing. Since then, unfortunately, her art has been an outlet for her sadness and guilt, which I think she still carries to this day. The drawings themselves, unfortunately, are normal for her, but this signifies she went to work out in the Rattle. She was abandoning the land of the Ribbon for the more prosperous but dangerous lands out in the wildlands.
And what then afflicts these people?
This I have never seen before. You see everyone around them kind of shaking their heads and agreeing that no one's seen anything like this before.
So these farmers, are they from the Rattle then?
She looks down at them and looks around. Who here knows these people? Some start to come forward. Yes, they're working at the Rattle. Yes, that's my cousin. He's a farmer at the edge of the Rattle. About half a day's travel. Starts to slowly. These were all indeed workers on a farm in the Rattle.
Are they all from the same farm? Do they know that?
It looks like one or two are from the same farm. Whether all of them is unsure.
Okay.
So
This is a mystery. So your daughter has abandoned the Ribbon to work in the Rattle. This is one of her drawings, and it is in the possession of one of these people who are afflicted by some malevolent malady.
she must be in danger. Please, I will offer you gold if you seem to know your way around weapons and able to defend yourself. And more if you return her to me safely back to Promise.
The mention of gold.
We are willing
I'll
to
actually
help
do
you.
something to find some.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't going to do it until I was offered payment.
So let's see.
Pay the
here.
goblin. I am a public servant. I will do it for free, but pay the goblin.
While these are just humans, there is a strange stink of undead about them.
Can I track it?
Oh, Grooch, is that you?
And not like wafting in the air, but they seem to definitely be under some creature's sway, or some entity's sway.
But nothing in the air.
No, nothing in the air. But you are able to, from the people that have come forward to identify these people, get a rough idea of the location of these farms. As I said, people here live in kind of communities, so usually, especially out in the rattles where it's dangerous, giant coyotes, bullets, all kind of other variety of strange creatures. The farmers all band together as much as possible to little communal groups.
And Delhi, we were dispatched to Promise as keepers of the peace. Do you anticipate any more trouble? We are loath to withdraw from Promise unless we are certain that no one else will disturb the ceremony.
This is the first time anyone has ever disturbed the awakening ceremony. As long as I've been alive, I can remember.
Then it seems if we find the source of these people and the source of their melody, we may in fact be doing all we can to keep the peace here.
I think the people will be watching and be more wary this time. I will get a group together to maybe keep an eye on the proceedings of the festival.
Very well then. I think our mandate demands that we investigate. What say you, other members of the party?
Hey,
Yes,
sucker,
I think
I'm Tungsten Ward.
we need
Look up,
to
you fool.
head to where's the farm? Figure out from there.
You see one of the
Agreed.
one of the figures that ran forward to help you, this gentleman with the giant afro here, will actually step forward. You're heading out to the farms. I'd like to help if I can. The name's Ward, Tungsten Ward. I'm one of the proclaimers.
Very pleased
Well,
to meet
that's a
you,
band.
Mr. Ward. Your hair is magnificent, if I do say so.
Thank you. Hey, thank you. I take a lot of care of it, you know?
I do. I care about my appearance as well. I carry soap with me.
So the
He
proclaimers...
carries it, he doesn't use it.
I'm also frugal. I like to save things.
Fair enough. Well, I'm ready to head out whenever you guys are. I know a bit of the land around here, constantly moving between the people to find new verses for the Awakening song.
I have a couple suggestions. And Bricktop will start like thumbing through his book to try to find a good one.
Oh, really? Maybe you can tell me some as we walk.
Yes, lead on. I hope it's not 500 miles to get to the farm.
It's
Maybe 500 more.
Yeah.
it's going to be about half a day's travel.
Okay.
So,
Sorry, couldn't resist.
When he wakes up, is he where he wants to be?
well, as you guys set off, I mean, are you just heading off straight away? Are you doing anything else here? You can see them bundling up the people who were sick, kind of, that were disturbed or whatever was ailing them, and they're sealing them in one of the houses, tied up, restrained.
What time of day are we leaving? I don't know how much time we spent in the festival area.
It's going to be about 4 p.m. at this point.
Okay.
So you would arrive at night if you had to leave now. It's up to you guys if you want to spend the day here, although obviously whatever's happening.
No, it seems like there's a little urgency with this, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not my first choice to travel at night, but I agree the sense of urgency outweighs the potential hazards, I believe.
before we leave, I will collect my net.
Your what? Sorry.
My net.
Your net. Yeah, very well. And I mean, she offered you gold. Are you going to follow up on that?
I assumed it was taken.
Well, she would head back to her shop, seeing as there are people with magical abilities and skilled with weapons that are going to find her goddaughter. She's going to give you most of what she can. She's going to give you 100 gold.
Damn.
Right. And then
Pick it up.
the journey to the Rattle, you'll be told the farm that Kiana works at is about 12 miles from Promise. And as you're getting ready, you can see one of the other people that was assisting you in the battle kind of calls out, if you're going up to the Rattle, you're welcome to use my cart. And a lady in very bright clothing comes forward with a horse-drawn carriage. The name's Lady Dre.
Thank you, Lady Dre. That's most kind of you.
Well, I do a bit of trading around here as well. It'd be good to check up on the folks out there. Maybe some stakes tied up in some of the farms there. I don't want to go to waste.
We appreciate your assistance. What information can you give us that may help us on our way?
Well, most people try and stay in the ribbon. It's always been where we've done our farming. Fertile lands have never seen us wrong until recent years. It looks like the lands of the Rattle are claiming up the healthy red soil bit by bit, and we're losing fertility. Farms are failing. People are going hungry. And you begin to kind of... are you climbing aboard and just heading towards the Rattle at this point?
Yes.
Okay. You can hear the kind of clopping of the horses, the rolling of the cart wheels against the stones as you move along at least quite a well-worn path into the distant lands. You can see areas you're leaving this kind of red open farmlands, plains. You're heading more into an area with speckled little copses of trees, small hills, collections of large boulders and such, and the land is much more wild and unkempt. So
Can this count as a short rest?
yes, it actually can, yeah.
Nice.
Bricktop is going to walk next to Tungsten. And so about my my addition to the song. I've got a couple lines here. If you would care to jot them down, and he's gonna wait until a notebook and pen is actually brought out. He's gonna say, I'm not from this far south, mainly up in the mountains, so Bricktop's strong drink grew up working in the mines. He slacked off his work and racked up the fines. His father was pissed, but Bricktop dismissed the thought of wasting his life and his mind. The life in the tavern seemed quite fair for the skinny dwarf with shaggy hair. His father yelled aloud, but a care could not be found as Brick held two birds high in the air.
That's quite a nice tale you've got there. Where did you say you're from again? The mountains to the north?
Yes. Yeah, backstory.
I haven't met too
Yes,
many
I'm
of
from,
you.
I'm from Thrumville.
He nods. I must say you are one of the first I've met from there. Although the Awakening song does accompany, it does. What's the word I'm looking for? It brings everyone of the land together. It sings not only of the people of promise, but of everyone the gods have helped bring to this place. I shall take what you said to heart, friend.
Thank you. It would be an honor if I heard one day a couple of my lines in the Awakening song.
You get the idea he is slightly humoring you. It's usually tales of great um, deeds or trades benefiting villages, groups of people, um, or simply passing quietly in the night. It's strange what can get you a verse in the song, but to design one yourself and have
Bricktop's
it in
aware,
there,
but he thinks his work is
fair enough.
worth it.
Nice. Okay, well, he does seem to be taking notes. And as you guys continue on, oops, that's the wrong one. You asked about Ogrish. You asked a bit about the land in general. Was that kind of what you were getting at?
Yes.
Well, people always stay in the ribbon. As I said, it's safer. No giant creatures, such the like. She's kind of steering her animals while she's talking back to you. But recently, the ribbon's getting smaller and smaller, and what we do grow is not nearly as good as what we used to back in our day. So people have started moving away from the cities, forming little groups of their own out in the rattle, the dangerous land, still wild, risk getting attacked by creatures and other such.
And Katara would just kind of casually mention that sounds like something similar to what we've dealt with before almost. Doesn't it, guys?
Indeed.
Yes, too much.
Definitely some
I have a,
similarities. Yeah, sorry?
I have a feeling that the same people that were involved in Subson Core are involved here. The the ones that told the family of Yam to dig there and start the trade route.
Ah, good, good point. Could very well be true.
And as you're traveling, you see.
Well,
Yeah?
no, I was just going to say at least we have an idea of maybe what or the kind of things to look for.
Yeah.
Based on our prior experience.
So the journeys from Promise leads north through the ribbon, and you move past clustered farmhouses that dot the dark red ground between stand of scattered woods, but eventually the road dwindles to a track. Stands of trees grow denser, the farms fewer and farther between, as you near the lands that the people call the rattle. The soil loses its kind of red hue to return to a more natural ruddy brown. Now, as you move out here, let's see, if someone, as you're traveling, going past these farms, anyone proficient in nature or
Yeah.
yeah, you want to give me a check? Alright, so 10. It's enough to notice that the farms around you on the ribbon are definitely not doing well. What animals you see are fairly thin. What plants you see are almost droop and wilting. There's something at play here.
Okay. Yeah, I'll mention that to the rest of the party and the guide essentially, and see if they have any information as to when it started and like from where it started.
Been happening for a couple of years now. Sweetie, it's nothing new, unfortunately. We're fighting back with less and less land to do our farming. And that land we do still have, she points over to the farms and just shrugs.
Hmm.
But with this, you
Have
begin.
you noticed any influence from outside this realm, from the Radiant Citadel or beyond?
We get a fair few amount of visitors interested in some of the things that we grow here. We've got our specialties. Um, no problems that I know of. I mean, if anyone's brave enough to come out here and set up farm away from the ribbon, then all the power to them.
Any rumors of mining, logging, or taking of resources from the land?
I mean, we do what we need to. That's why it's all there, isn't it?
Of course. Well,
How long
mysterious.
ago did it? I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I was just adding mysterious. So go ahead.
I was going to ask, how long ago did this begin? Do you know? I mean, has it been a gradual thing, or did you notice perhaps a specific time that you can remember when things went from normal to worse?
I can't say there's a specific time. I would say a couple of years, maybe 4 or 5. It's been coming on gradually. It was hard to notice it at first, of course, but more prominent as time has passed.
Can you tell us anything else about what's the girl's name?
Kanya?
What is it?
Kanya.
Oh, Konya. Can you tell us anything else about her? Do you know her?
I know of her. Don't know her personally. Troubled girl. Kept herself to herself. As you see, drew some pretty disturbing creatures, but then again, she lost her friend Cully as a child, so her mom says.
When did that occur? Was it perhaps around the same time you noticed the changes in the land?
I mean, when she was younger, she's a grown woman now. You must be roughly 7 to 10 years. I'm not sure how old she is exactly, but it was all thanks to that damn Cradle Lace Lake. There's lots of troubles around that place. Lots of evil stories as well. Sad ones.
You said Cradle Lace?
Yes, Cradle Lace Lake.
By all means,
Yeah, she can go a
tell
bit
us.
more into that. Where's my page here? 1 second. Okay. So as you guys have now kind of heading past the outskirts of the ribbon, you can see she's definitely much more wary. Tells you guys to keep an eye out as you're going. Definitely keep a watch. But she will go into the stories. Well, they tell that Cradle Lace Lake was once a thriving yet isolated farm, home to a large, happy family. But during a terrible storm one night, a sinkhole swallowed the farmhouse. It flooded, drowning the house with brackish muck. And tales say that the house's residents struggled to escape the pit, but the farm's owner, desperate to keep her family with her, dragged them back to the sinking house. In the aftermath, neighbors arrived at the sinkhole's edge, and, well, the tales say that they found many pairs of severed hands struggling to escape the muddy waters.
An evil place.
She nods. And it seems more tragedies befall those who go near the place, as if the buried dead sought to add to their number or something like that. And she kind of lapses into silence as you're completely in the rattle at this point. You can see a nervous Tungsten Ward looking around constantly. Definitely not one that leaves the towns too much, but you start to... Wait, there was perception checks here. 10 from Katara. You start to hear a sound out of the ordinary. As you're passing by what looks to be a field from... must be attached to a nearby farm somewhere. You can't see the farmhouse yet, but you hear growls and excited yipping that are coming from this field to the next, just over a low wall. Let's get you onto that map. As you guys approach this area here, you start to hear creatures or objects moving through the kind of thick, grainy wheat in the field next door. The source isn't clear, but from the motion of the tall crops, something moves swiftly through the fields, kind of parallel to the road. If anyone would like to give me a perception check or do anything else in the situation, you're welcome to do so.
Katara will ready an action with her short bow.
Sure. Okay. 15. So, Daggett, as you kind of try and get any height on the cart and look inside, you realize that it looks to be two groups moving through the field. One much larger group seemingly in pursuit of the other, though the dense crops block your view almost entirely.
Okay. Here, he'll point it out to the rest of the party that some people seem to be are being followed. For what reason, I do not know.
It's not followed, it is more like predators chasing prey. You hear
Okay.
someone kind of crying in distress, pushing through the fields, and you can hear this growling, yipping, hounding at him.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, he'll mention that then.
So what are you guys doing in this moment? Seems to be about 40, 30 feet off the road.
Makari will ask if they want him to check it out.
Okay, you see the objects moving forward. Now, the front one is here, close to erupting from the fields, while the other ones are not that far behind.
Okay. Makari's going to use part of his 60 feet dash action on the mount to get closer and try get between the pursuing predators and the fleeing voices.
Okay, let's get everyone on the map here. You see the horses rear, snorting their disagreement with the scent of predators on the air, as you hear kind of a sobbing figure roughly over there, with these large shapes chasing. Now, so you're going to use your 60 feet. So you're going straight into the field.
Yes, I'm gonna try discern from the sounds of angry predators and the cries of distress to try find a middle ground. I'm literally just trying to become a bulwark.
Okay, no problem. So you jump into the fray there. I will move you up. Let's see. Why aren't you on the token layer? Oh, there you go. So as the figure gets further away, he doesn't even notice you kind of screaming with renewed fear as you land close to him. Still just running, trying to flee. As you hear creatures now barreling towards you, I think we are going to go ahead and get some initiative up as this happens. As the first one begins to reach an area where you can kind of start to make it out, it looks like some kind of giant coyote. Then you hear the growls and slobbers of others behind it. Alright. Wait, what just happened?
I'm gonna ready an action that if it takes another 5 foot of movement, I'm gonna stab it in the face with a lance.
Okay, well we'll get your turn now, because you getting there is going to be your kind of pre-combat movement. There's more of these creatures coming up behind you. As your friend leaps into the field, you hear now more clearly the sounds of like an old man crying out, "Oh, Sheso, please, spare me this one day!" Calling out to any deity that will hear him. But what are you doing in the meantime, Katara?
As soon as I see this first creature, I'll let go the ready to action I had with my
So you don't
short bow.
You don't necessarily see it. There are like 6 feet high crops here that everything is moving through. It's more just Makari that can start to make out these creatures. You just see wide holes as they barrel through the crops heading towards Makari.
Okay, would it be possible to take a shot towards where I see the path being made?
I would say you would at least have disadvantage,
Okay.
but you could try.
Well, we'll do it at disadvantage.
Okay.
Oh, we don't have bless.
You let loose an arrow just into the crops. You don't hear any response. You don't think you hit your mark. Is that going to be
Okay. Yeah, she will store her bow and move towards the sounds of where the old man was.
Fair enough. Yeah, as you move into there, it is hard to see. And, okay, well, you're not moving in. For Makari, your visibility would be lowered to about 10 feet. As we go over to your turn, these creatures are almost
Okay.
upon you. What you doing?
I'm gonna rely on my spider's 10 feet of blind sense, so I don't need to see at all. That when he reacts, or when she reacts, whatever the spider is, to the oncoming stampede, which it probably will do, I'm gonna make an attack, and then once I've made my attack, I'm going to use movement to get up behind the fleeing people, just to continue acting like a bulwark. So that will be a held action to go off when it moves.
Okay. Let's see, do we have these guys on the initiative? Why did it not roll for them? God damn, they were 19. Let me roll for these other ones. No, I think I'd rather just have them together. I'll keep them at 6 for now, because I forgot. We'll say that'll bring us to Daggot's turn.
Okay. He starts to see this. He's gonna bring up his shield and from it light greenish glow comes from the shield, and well, it's not. It'll be difficult to see, but there'll be like reeds coming out of the land right where the enemies are, and he's gonna cast spike growth, and
Nice.
it'll be sorry, is it? Yeah, it'll be centered onto there, so it'll be, yeah, that's it.
Okay, spiked growth. As the land reacts, ripping up to make it harder for these creatures to move through. Now, are you going to end your turn there? Are you moving or anything else?
Just gonna move up to there, and that's it.
Okay, that'll bring us to you, Bricktop.
Bricktop is going to move over near where he saw Katara go. He's gonna make it to there. And he's just gonna hold a longsword attack for anything that comes into his melee range.
Sure. Okay, so that brings us to these creatures that begin to move forward to their own detriment. So
2d4 for every 5 feet. That's dirty.
I know, right?
Yeah.
So,
And Bricktop, you remember you have an extra 5 feet of movement.
Yes, I
Okay.
added that in.
Okay, so as soon as it breached, he would have made an attack.
Yeah.
And activated held up.
And that's did they move 10 feet or 15 feet?
10 feet, so 2d4, 4d4. So Makari, why did you move back?
Because that was my held action. My held action was as soon as they move within 10 feet, which Spider's blind sense would know, he was going to make an attack action and run towards the screaming person to continue acting like a bulk.
Okay, and I didn't hear that last clause, because you technically can't have that as part of a bonus action. Movement isn't part of it. For a held action, I mean. So the creature is at least going to get up to you in this sense, enough to make an attack. And that is going to miss. Let me turn off these damn whispers. The others, they're a bit screwed now.
Yeah, it's also difficult terrain, the area.
And, yeah. They will howl in pain, try to... Well, it'll move 10 feet, so roll 4d4.
Damage.
10 damage is the more they move, you can just see blood start to cover all the crops. And that took 20 feet, so the creature doesn't have much speed left. 50 feet, it can make it out. It's going to make it out. Take another 2d4.
The spell that Kronex would have liked to have.
So I'm going to move another 10 feet, and it's going to join this other one on taking a bite at Makari. See if this one will have more success. A 19 to hit this time, and I need a strength save. Well, how will you be knocked prone on your mount? That's a good question.
I do not believe I can be knocked prone. You would have to knock my mount prone, which would knock me off. Because you can target the mount or me as separate entities.
It says if you're knocked prone while mounted, you must make the saving throw against being dismounted. That might not be... okay, anyway. You're going to be taking 6 piercing, as it is going to attempt to kind of rip you off your mount, I guess. Do you have any feature or clause that helps with that?
Let me check.
So otherwise, I'm gonna just need a strength saving throw. We'll say that it's not for prone, but just kind of pull you off the mount. This last one, in the meantime, is probably just gonna kill itself. It's right in the center. So it's gonna get 64 from you, Digit.
Dexterity, strength. So.
Okay, you are pulled off your mount. Let's see. Give me an
Yeah, I
acrobat.
couldn't find. I didn't. Yeah. Okay.
No problem.
I couldn't find anything that said that I couldn't be knocked prone. Would make sense if I was dismounted that I'm going to be knocked on my ass.
I'll say, as you're pulled off your mount, give me an acrobatics check to see if you can stay on your feet. Yep. Okay, you do manage it. As the last one rushes forward, it is going to launch an attack here. And let's see. 1-2's Digit. It's going to be at Digit himself. Coyote, this giant coyote is going to bite at you. But a natural one. Easily kind of step out the way as these huge jaws clamp shut on air. Ogrish.
Ogrish is going to attack the giant coyote that's closest to him with his war pick.
Yeah, that'll hit. Give me a roll. I think at this point as well, this figure would have burst out of the trees, kind of looking back, slamming into the fence. 7 points of damage. Very nice. Wait, how much did you do? 64 was 14. Yeah, this one is already looking pretty harassed, and you bring it to bloodied.
I'm going to do an action surge and try and hit it again.
Yes.
Oh,
Nice.
hey, wow. Is that,
It's a 19.
that's 19. So I have the improved critical feature. So I think that counts
Oh,
as a crit.
champion.
Right?
Oh, nice.
Nice. And so I get 2d8, one for being a half orc and one because it's a critical.
Okay. And then roll the actual damage.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, just a solid slam into right behind the neck of the creature. You hear a crack as you pierce right through the spine, and the creature drops.
Ogrish,
Take
I
that
believe
foul
there's,
dog.
I believe you can actually customize your weapon stuff to where it will recognize 19s as crits.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'll check that out. I'll try and do that. I was looking at it, but I wasn't quite sure how to do it. But I'll work on that and make sure it works before we.
I'm not
Is that where
familiar
you
with
go?
how Roll20 is,
It should
but
be
I know
here. There, critical range, top right, like the 5th or 6th line, critical range. Change it to 19,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah. So it would be 19 and 20. There we go.
Beautiful.
Sweet.
Cool.
Okay, but yeah, taking that creature down, are you using movement?
Yeah. He'll move toward, he'll take a position right there.
Okay.
And that'll be the end of Ogrish's turn.
So, Kitara, you see stumbling out of the crops here what looks to be an older man, and he turns towards you. Creatures, giant, they're coming! Ah! He's like terrified. But as he sees you guys turn towards them, he looks ready to hop the fence and kind of keep running a bit. What are you doing, Kitara? Oh, my neck. Oh, my neck.
I'll tell him to go over to where any of the bushes and trees are and hide there.
My
We'll
house!
take care of the beasts.
My house is up there on the hill! And he's like lifting his robes up and just sprinting bare ankles up to his house in the distance.
Okay. All right. And can I tell where this fight is going on now between these things and Makari?
Yeah, they've started to clear quite a bit of a wide swath of the crops here as they're fighting.
Okay. Then I guess Qatar will try and get into a flanking position.
Okay.
if that's possible. I don't know if I need to do one more over.
Yeah, it's good.
Okay. And then we'll go ahead and make her first attack. That's probably a miss.
I'm afraid an 11 will not hit.
And she's going to do her bonus.
That will do it with the flanking.
Okay. And I will spend 1 key point to do Flurry of Blows. And that'll miss.
Shame, you've had the worst attack rolls so far.
Yeah.
All right.
Had a good day.
Trying to land an
Yeah.
attack on this writhing creature it proves to be more difficult than you thought. And right there, I'm afraid that at the turn of the hour, I have to swap over to my batteries as my internet electricity is going down. So we're going to have to take an impromptu break here, unfortunately. I'd prefer to finish combat.
Okay.
But otherwise,
No problem.
yeah, thank you. I'll see you guys in 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Okay. No worries.